Hello and welcome to Observer TV News. It's Wednesday, November 16th, 2016. I'm Scott Dell.
And I'm Ashley Bruzaz, and here are our top stories. An incident of racism flares up on a Toronto streetcar. Holt Renfrew Bloor Street holds a shopping event to support the Children's Wish Foundation of Canada.
And find out which celebrity is at the top of Forbes' highest paid list. And now to our top story. An incident of racism breaks out on the St. Clair Avenue streetcar. A white man wearing a hard hat shouted racial taunts at a man with brown skin. The incident was filmed by freelance writer Valeska Griffiths. The man in the hard hat claims he was punched in the face. He yelled, quote, "Next time you punch me in the face, I promise you're getting buried." Several witnesses at the scene claim they never saw the punch occur. The victim remains silent during the verbal lashing. Griffiths calls the man a racist. He replies that he is proud of that and yells, "Go Trump." The driver stops the streetcar until police arrive. Neither man wishes to press charges, and the victim is allowed back on.
An Iranian immigrant who has lived in Canada for roughly 12 years says several acts of kindness during a subway ride last week reminded her how happy she is to be Canadian. Salma Hamidi saw strangers young and old come together to help a man who was late for a job interview. Fellow passengers reached out by offering the man Advil for his headache, a hair tie to pull his hair back, and words of encouragement like good luck and a cheerful reminder to keep smiling. After sharing her story on Facebook later that day, the post quickly went viral. Hundreds of people reached out to tell her how heartwarming the story was, while others shared similar encounters. "I guess we're all very grateful that we live here," she said.
A puppy has been stolen from a North York park. Charlie, a female Shih Tzu, was stolen from Derry Downs Park earlier this week. Charlie's owner was approached by 4 men on bicycles. The victim alleges that one punched him and another held a knife to his throat. The men seized the puppy and fled. Police are now looking for 4 men. The alleged attackers are described as 20 to 25 years old, black, and riding black mountain bikes. Anyone with any information is asked to call Toronto Police at 416-808-3100.
Toronto is in the process of fixing accessibility issues for Wheel-Trans blocked by the Bloor Street bike lane. Kaylee Rusin alerted the city that the new lane made her commute dangerous. She says the city has ignored her appeals for action since September. City officials are looking to slope the curb with what is known as a curb cut. It has been 2 weeks since her complaints made headlines and nothing has been done. Joe Cressy, councillor for Ward 20, says that it will be fixed, quote, imminently. But others are complaining that too often, people with disabilities are left out of the planning phase. City staff apologized for the delay in completing the work and will provide a temporary asphalt ramp until a permanent curb can be installed.
An Ottawa woman was stunned when she woke up to find a swastika and racist graffiti on her front door. Rabbi Anna Maranta woke around 2:30 a.m. and saw the graffiti painted over the glass door. The victim runs a Jewish prayer center and is a children's caretaker during the day. She quickly covered the graffiti with newspaper before any children arrived. Maranta ties this incident to the election of Donald Trump. She cites Trump's speeches, which she calls, quote, openly racist, bigoted, and misogynistic. She feels this allows other people to, quote, express their hatred. She may not be wrong, as Time and CNN have reported a large upturn in racist incidents since Trump's election. This includes the Southern Poverty Law Center receiving over 200 complaints of hate crimes since the election.
There may not be any snow on the ground yet, but Toronto Police are reminding motorists to think ahead as the winter season approaches. A driving awareness event in partnership with the Canadian Automobile Association South Central Ontario this morning educated drivers on unpredictable weather conditions. You need to plan ahead, adjust your speed, and be prepared for a sudden change in traffic flows, Superintendent Gord Jones of Traffic Services said. Simple changes could prevent a tragedy from occurring. There was also a reminder to check your vehicle by inspecting tires, windshield wipers, and topping up on washer fluid. Other items to have in case of an emergency include an ice scraper, blankets, flashlight, and booster cables. And that's our first look at news. Stay with us because after the break, we'll be back with all the national and international news.
Hello and welcome to the Journal.
We are artists, writers, and storytellers. We are communicators, innovators, and collaborators. We are leaders, creators, and achievers. With one thing in common, a passion for storytelling. Bring life to learning at Centennial College.
Welcome back and hello. I'm Evangelo Sipsas, and here's what's making news in Canada and the world. Here's some good news out of Queen's Park. The Ontario government will be moving the tax rebate up to $4,000 for first-time homebuyers. Finance Minister Charles Souza announced the changes at the Legislature building Monday afternoon while presenting the fall economic statement. And if you live in an apartment building, there's potentially good news for you as well. The government will be freezing property taxes on apartment buildings to keep the lid on rent increases for tenants. Speaking on BBC Radio earlier today, Federal Finance Minister Bill Morneau expects Britain to be part of the settled trade deal between Canada and the European Union and is also ready to work with Britain after Brexit. Despite the criticism from recently elected Trump, Morneau defends the NAFTA trade deal between Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Now to the Middle East and to Syria, where Aleppo is being pounded by air for the second day in a row, targeting hospitals and schools. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, more than 80 people have been killed and dozens injured, including emergency workers and children.
Thanks, Evangelo. I'm Rose Hetherington, and here's what's making entertainment news. First off, Mario is getting a new game for your mobile devices. Super Mario Run is coming to iPhones and iPads in 4 weeks. Players can go through 24 levels, race against others, and decorate Mushroom Kingdom. Nintendo is bringing Mario to you for free, but you'll have to spend $14 if you want the full game. There's no release date for Android users. Michelle Williams is set to be Janis Joplin in an upcoming biopic. Last month, we started hearing news that she will be playing the role. The film will be based off of the biography that Janis's sister wrote. Laura Joplin wrote it in the early 90s. There's also a musical based off of the book. Lastly, Taylor Swift is the top paid celebrity under 30. According to Forbes' list of highest paid celebrities, she came first with $170 million for this year. Second place goes to One Direction with $110 million. And that's a look at entertainment news. Stay with us because after the break, we'll be back with today's lifestyle news.
Hello and welcome to the Journal.
We are artists, writers, and storytellers. We are communicators, innovators, and collaborators. We are leaders, creators, and achievers. With one thing in common, a passion for storytelling. Bring life to learning at Centennial College.
Welcome and hello everyone, I'm Amema Chitani. Fashion icon Iris Apfel came to Toronto for the launch of Atelier Swarovski's holiday collection at the Yorkville Holt Renfrew. All Holt Renfrew stores held a charity shopping event that evening with 10% of all sales going to the Children's Wish Foundation Canada. When asked about millennials, Iris Apfel says she believes young people today don't want to learn. They want to follow trends and copy everybody else. And speaking of young people, supermodel Kendall Jenner shut down her Instagram account this past Sunday. Her fans had expected to see another update of her fabulous life on her page, but instead received a message saying the page was no longer available. The 21-year-old appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show and explained she needed to detox from social media and felt it was time to take a break. Finally, a new participation study reveals Canada's kids are still some of the least active compared to children from other countries. It was estimated by researchers that only 9% of kids aged 5 to 17 get their 60 minutes of activity a day. Interestingly enough, more developed countries such as United States, Great Britain, and Australia and Canada scored poorly in the test. And that's a look at lifestyle news. Now let's send it over to Raquel for her thoughts on the current rise of hate crimes.
Donald Trump has been the U.S. president-elect for a week, and there has already been reactions in Canada. From protests in Vancouver to statements made by politicians, most have had something to say about this development. In the Observer's very own East York, signs recently appeared inviting white people in the area to join what is referred to as the alt-right. The sign featured questions wondering why only white countries have to become multicultural or figured out that diversity only means less white people. Conservative MP and candidate Kelly Leach praised Trump's win in the wake of the results, and she claims it was an exciting message that needs to be delivered to Canada. Fellow Conservative leadership candidates and members of the party have condemned Leach's statements. However, it's this, amongst other events, that remind us that our Canadian values that include tolerance and respect are not something to be taken for granted. Yesterday, passengers intervened when another TTC rider was attacked for racist reasons. People stood up to this bully. No matter where we are in the world, we will be confronted with the decision to stand up or stand by. Always stand up. And those are my thoughts, and that's our show for now. Stay tuned for more news.
Hello and welcome to the Journal.
We are artists, writers, and storytellers. We are communicators, innovators, and collaborators. We are leaders, creators, and achievers, with one thing in common: a passion for storytelling. Bring life to learning at Centennial College.
Hello, welcome to Observer TV News. It's Wednesday, November 16, 2016. I'm Alicia Ratnaraja.
And I'm Renee Allen. Here are the top stories. Mike Bullard was in court today for his criminal harassment case. A 35-year-old man last night died from a fatal elevator crash.
And a Toronto school celebrates being the first school to be named after Pope Francis. And now to our top story. A 35-year-old man died last night after an accident involving an elevator in downtown Toronto. The incident occurred at 1 King West Hotel and Residence in the Yonge and King Streets area shortly before 7:30 p.m. The man died a short time later. It was not immediately clear who the man was working for when the accident occurred. The Ministry of Labor currently is investigating.
Mike Bullard was in court today for his criminal harassment case. The popular broadcaster was allegedly charged with stalking his ex-girlfriend Cynthia Mulligan, a City News reporter. After the couple's breakup this summer, he allegedly violated a no-contact order. He also allegedly contacted Mulligan numerous times and visited her home. He was charged with obstructing justice after allegedly trying to get Mulligan to drop the charges. Bullard is the former host of News Talk 1010.
The truck driver accused of causing a devastating crash on Highway 400 appears in court today. The crash involved 12 vehicles and claimed the lives of 4 people, including a 5-year-old, her mother, and her grandmother. At the time, Ontario Provincial Police Sergeant Carrie Schmidt called the accident completely preventable. Sergeant Singh Matharu, a 35-year-old man from Winnipeg, has been charged with 4 counts of criminal negligence causing death and 1 count of criminal negligence causing bodily harm.
Toronto police arrest 6 people after a shooting in the Moss Park area. Witnesses reported hearing 3 shots early this morning near Shooter and Sherbourne Streets. Police found shell cases in the area. Officers also found a gun that was thrown out of an apartment window close by. No one was injured. Little damage was reported. It is unclear if the individuals arrested have been charged. Anyone with information on the shooting is asked to contact Toronto Police.
Council will grow by 3 members after Council approved new ward boundaries on Wednesday. Council adopted recommendations from consultants in a 28-13 vote. The 47 ward option approved was the consultant's recommendation to balance uneven populations in the current 44 ward system. Mayor John Tory does not support any new members on council and voted against the 47 ward option. A bylaw must be passed by December 31st, 2017 for the boundaries to be changed before the 2018 vote.
A Toronto school named after Pope Francis will celebrate its official opening on November 30th. The school is the first in Canada to be named after the Pope. The Oslington Village School occupies the former St. Luke's Catholic School building. Pope Francis Catholic School combines students from Luke's and Center Santa Cristo Catholic School that closed down. The school's name was approved in June. It was chosen by students and faculty of both schools. As part of the rebranding, the school was painted, floors redone, and a memory wall was added in honor of the 2 schools coming together. The school's opening will be in the gym at 1 p.m. And that's our first look at today's news. Stay with us because after the break, we'll be back with all the entertainment buzz.
Hello and welcome to the Journal.
We are artists, writers, and storytellers. We are communicators, innovators, and collaborators. We are leaders, creators, and achievers, with one thing in common: a passion for storytelling. Bring life to learning at Centennial College.
Welcome back and hello everyone. I'm Charlotte Poon and here's what's making news in the entertainment world. These winged creatures sometimes scare the wits out of people in broad daylight. No, it's not a bird. No, it's not a butterfly. It's a bat. British pop star Adele was scared out of her wits after a bat flew in the middle of a show at Mexico City's Palacio de los Deportes, which houses 25,000 people. The singer spotted a bat among the audience and started yelling on stage and moving her arms frantically. Adele quickly regained her composure and continued her show, singing her famous hits such as Hello, Rumor Has It, and Someone Like You. The Adele live tour will be in Phoenix, Arizona next week. Iggy Azalea made a really bold statement about her lady part after being awarded Woman of the Year at GQ Australia Men of the Year Awards on Wednesday. She told reporters how proud she felt about accepting the trophy and that this award in particular meant the most to her because she could declare that her lady parts is award-winning material. It has only been 4 days since Kendall Jenner disappeared on the face of Instagram, and she has finally explained why she deleted her account on the Ellen DeGeneres show on Wednesday. Apparently, the 21-year-old supermodel admitted that she wanted a bit of a break from social media because she felt too addicted to her phone. She described the experience as a form of detox, and she will be back on social media soon. Now over to Lucia Mendes with the top national and international news.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau arrived to La Habana, Cuba. He met President Raul Castro for discussing governance reforms and foreign investment in a closed-door meeting. Castro declared that economic reforms in Cuba have not moved swiftly enough for some other countries, but too fast for their citizens. About 40 years ago, Prime Minister's father, Pierre Trudeau, made an historic visit to Cuba. Trudeau remarked that the friendship between the families is long and deep, but nothing compared to the relationship between Canadians and Cubans. Justin Trudeau is on his week-long trade trip to Central and South America. His next stop is Argentina, and the last is Peru, when he's going to attend the Asian-Pacific Economic Leaders meeting. Vladimir Putin withdrew Russia from the International Criminal Court. Putin accepted the proposal of his Minister of Justice to not ratify the Rome Statute because of national interests. The statement showed the Russian government's frustration over the court's work in recent years. They described the International Criminal Court work as not truly independent. This came after the ICC used a report recognizing a military conflict between Russia and Ukraine and classified the annexation of Crimea as an occupation. Just before the release, the UN made a defense to the ICC, asking countries not to leave. There are already 3 African countries that signaled their intention to pull off. Protests continue after Donald Trump's election. Students from Washington, D.C. walked out of class and protest against the threats of deportation. More than 2,000 DC middle school and high school students ditched classes, calling their diverse student bodies to remain united. The post-secondary students crowded downtown street, carrying signs, marching and chanting until they arrived at the Trump International Hotel. The mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser, gave the students a release stating that they will not review the immigration status of their residents and their officials are not ordered to detain undocumented immigrants. We will be right back with Jody Anderson with more news in the entertainment world.
Hello and welcome to the Journal.
We are artists, writers, and storytellers. We are communicators, innovators, and collaborators. We are leaders, creators, and achievers, with one thing in common: a passion for storytelling. Bring life to learning at Centennial College.
Welcome back, everyone. Ivanka Trump used her interview on 60 Minutes to promote a nearly $11,000 bracelet. The bracelet is designed from her own company, Ivanka Trump Fine Jewelry, and a press release was sent out to journalists asking them to inform clients of Ivanka's bedazzled accessory. Some people worry that this is a conflict of interest and the beginning of Trump's new business strategy as president. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been crowned sexiest man alive by People magazine. The 44-year-old former wrestler appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show to discuss his new title. This year, he worked alongside Kevin Hart in the comedy Central Intelligence and lent his voice for the Disney animated film Mona. We'll be seeing lots more of him next year in the 8th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise. The Cosby Show reruns are returning to American TV. Bounce TV, an African-American broadcast network stationed in Atlanta, pulled the show from its lineup during the string of sexual abuse allegations. They decided to bring it back on December 19th due to popular demand. There's been some controversy since their decision was made public. However, they argue that their audiences see a difference between the main character and the man playing him. I'm Jody Anderson, and that's all for entertainment news. We'll be back after the break with lifestyle news with Eden DeBebe.
Hello and welcome to the Journal.
We are artists, writers, and storytellers. We are communicators, innovators, and collaborators. We are leaders, creators, and achievers, with one thing in common: a passion for storytelling. Bring life to learning at Centennial College.
Move over, Trump. The people have spoken. In an interview, Dwayne Johnson told reporters he wouldn't rule out running for president in 2020. He says it would be a great opportunity to help people. This past election shows that anything can happen. Other celebs who have thrown their hat into the ring include George Clooney, Katy Perry, and most notably Kanye West. In tech news, Tinder has released a trans-inclusive update. Beginning Tuesday, users can identify themselves using genders other than male or female, or hide their choice altogether. The dating app worked closely with media advocacy group GLAAD to put out the update. Take out your jingle bells and baking, because Santa Claus is coming to town. On Sunday, November 20th, kids and parents can catch the Santa Claus parade as it winds its way down Florida University. Viewers are encouraged to wear a red nose to the parade. Sold by the Air Cadets, the fundraising initiative helps support the 180 Mosquito Cadets. The parade begins at 12:30 p.m. And that's our show for now. You can find the latest news on our website at torontoobserver.ca. On behalf of everyone here at Observer TV News, thank you for watching and have a good night.